But I am going to bring up representatives from the Bernstein Company. I don't know how many are coming up, but I do know we have here with us the CEO, Mark Duber. We also have Executive Vice President Joe Galley. Is that correct pronunciation? Okay. And we also have the Vice President of Property Management, Sandy Camp Regal.
Thank you all very much, and it's a pleasure for us to be here, and it's a pleasure for us to have you in beautiful Metro 1, where we've made a substantial investment here at University Town Center, which is one of the great secrets, unsung secrets of our region. University Town Center being on the Metro, being here in Hyattsville, and having such available and inexpensive space. Again, I'll introduce Mark Duber, Chief Operating Officer of the Bernstein Companies, and our partner, Drew Hudson. Drew Gorman. I wrote down Hudson. I wrote that wrong. I don't know who that is. Drew Gorman. And Drew is partners with us in the beautiful new Safeway that's going on the frontage here of East-West Highway. And we'd like to thank everybody from Councilman Campos, the County Executive, and whole administration for making that possible. We'll thank everybody here at the end. We are proud to be an owner here at University Town Center, and we're also proud that Prince George's Community College is our main anchor here at Metro 1. Community colleges are going to be the core of education for the next 100 years to come, and we're proud that they're here at Metro 1. A little bit about us. We've worked nationwide over the past 5 years on different development projects, done $1.5 billion of economic development projects, and nowhere in the country do we see such prime, ripe real estate that's ready for changes that we do at University Town Center. We have it all here. It's just a matter of having the proper focus and making things happen. So with that, we appreciate the partnership that we have with the administration here in Prince George's County. I'd like to thank the county executive, Councilman Campos, everybody else here on the county council for making everything possible and moving things forward here at University Town Center. There's a long way to go, and we're committed to make things happen, and we appreciate all the effort from everybody here in the administration and everybody in Prince George's County. Anything else we need to?
No, I was just going to add that there is a little brochure on the back table about our company and also, more importantly, about this specific project. So everybody should feel free to grab one. And thank you all for being here.
And real quickly, Edward Durrell Stone was not only the architect of the Kennedy Center, he's the architect of Metro 1, 2, and 3. So that's why they look even more common, because it's the same architect. But thank you very much.
The only thing I'd like to add is we're delighted and proud to do another project within Prince George's County. Our predecessor company, Faison, did plenty of projects in this county. Most recently in Councilman Franklin's district in Brandywine. And we're hoping to see many of you here within the next 45 to 60 days when we send out an announcement for the groundbreaking of the Safeway project out here on what's known as Parcel S, right along East-West Highway. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Our Assistant DCAO for Economic Development, Mr. David Iannucci.
This TOD effort owes itself to a lot of people who worked real hard. Especially want to thank my colleague Aubrey Thaggard, my boss Aubrey Thaggard, who was instrumentally part of this, and Barry Hudson, in fact, helped. He held our hand as we moved toward make this reality. But I think actually particularly want to thank the county executive, because it's under his leadership and his guidance, his direction, that TOD is as important as it is to Prince George's County. And the reason that we're all here, and I do thank you all for being here. Despite that really miserable weekend we've just had in terms of weather, it is spring outside. And when it comes to spring, I think of baseball. And today, in fact, is the first full day of the baseball season. So I'm reminded of that great American philosopher, Yogi Berra, who once said, baseball is 90% mental and the other half is physical. I'm going to paraphrase Yogi when it comes to this event and say today's Jumpstarting TOD event is 90% policy and the other half is marketing. Because, in fact, there's a lot of initiatives that have been in place. Let's go to the next slide. And a lot of programs that are in place, and we are packaging them, and we're trying to send a strong message to the development community take advantage of the momentum in Prince George's County. Take advantage of these incredible stories we're getting in the paper and all the effort and all the initiative that I know all of us feel. And understand that there is a great opportunity for TOD. Now, I'm one of those folks that everyone knows in the administration. I think I'm a realist. And we know we've had a tough haul in the county, and we've got some real obstacles. And quite frankly, TOD has lagged in Prince George's County compared to our jurisdictions. But the opportunity is there. And the county executive has made it clear to us that TOD is to be a priority for this administration. If you look at some of the recent projects that are underway or being talked about, you'll see that the initiative I'm about to talk about is, in fact, part of a reality. So we have going to Largo. We have the Regional Medical Center. We have in New Carrollton, we have the groundbreaking for the DHCD headquarters next week. In Branch Avenue, we have apartments going on, Councilman Franklin's district. Right here in Prince George's Plaza, UTC, you heard about the coming retail project with significant county investment, and there are apartments going on all around here. In College Park, home to the University of Maryland and M Square, we have a county request for proposals on the street for some county-owned land. The Bowie Mark Station, another RFA on the street for that. Morgan Boulevard has looks like with WMATA's effort, there's a project that's going to go on Morgan Boulevard. And of course, we know that the FBI is going to Greenbelt. So this Jumpstart initiative essentially is packaging a number of existing tools and efforts and leadership to send the right message. This is a summary of the 6 components of it, and I'm going to go through a little more detail, but I do want to get out of the way and let our great elected officials take over. But the 6 components of this are focus, infrastructure, fast track, financial incentives, vision and marketing, and leadership and collaboration. Next slide. And when it comes to focus, all 15 metro stations are part of this initiative. All 15 metro stations in the county will benefit from most of the programs that I'm about to discuss. But we have identified 5 that are going to get a special focus, and I'll identify some of the particular initiatives that are going to apply to them. But again, this is a 15 metro station initiative, but we believe that there's the greatest opportunity for the county to influence Largo Town Center, New Carrollton, Prince George's Plaza, Branch Avenue, and Suitland as our greatest chance where the county, working with our partners, can make something happen where it might not otherwise happen. Next slide. Infrastructure is the next part of this. Prince George's County is prepared to identify infrastructure improvements at the 5 priority stations to support them, working with WMATA, working with the State Department of Transportation, and the county's own budget, our capital improvement budget. We're prepared to identify projects where we can work with private investors to put the infrastructure in place to make the TOD development possible. So our budget is going to reflect this where possible. We're going to prioritize transportation improvements on the state level in our letter to the governor to make TOD possible through infrastructure. Next slide. And here are some of the examples of some of the projects that will work with the developers. Roads, sidewalks, parking garages in particular. My colleague, Mr. Himmler, and I are all about parking garages, and we're prepared to make those. Next. The next aspect of this initiative is fast-tracking the permit process, and this is an area where we owe gratitude and thanks to the County Council for their leadership in legislation that passed, CB 20, 2012, that essentially accelerated the review and approval process for TOD projects within a half a mile of a metro station. And we expect that the development process can be cut in half for projects that are subject to this TOD initiative. So this is another one of the 6 elements of the initiative, faster process. So we're going to put the infrastructure in place, we're going to make it faster for you, and next slide. We're also going to identify financial incentives where we can support you. So when it comes to TIF, tax improvement, boy, the brain goes, TIF districts, tax increment financing, we're prepared to proactively enact TIF district for the 5 priority stations. We'll discuss TIF districts for all of them, but to make it easier for the developers, we're prepared to do that. Pilots are also eligible for all of our metro stations. Fee relief, again, thanks to the County Council, thanks to the leadership and Councilman Olson and Councilman Franklin and Davis, that some of the fees, the adequate public facilities fees, have been lowered in proximity to metro stations for a period of time to spur development. And then county land and leases. Where we have county land, we're prepared to make it available to support transit-oriented development. The College Park area is an example, and the Bowie Mark Station is an example, and if we have others, we're prepared to move there. Now, the TIF and the Economic Development Incentive Fund are two of the examples where the 5 priority stations will get extra emphasis. Again, proactively enact a TIF, and we've talked about a Economic Development Incentive Fund, maybe in the order of a $5 million grant that would be eligible for a private development that met the county's vision for density, for pedestrian friendliness, for walkability, for true transit-oriented development, and a mixed-use component. Subject to all of our due diligence, but that's something that we're prepared to do. Next is vision and marketing. I've already identified the 5 stations, but we have a vision we want to communicate to the private sector of what we think each of these could be. The Largo Town Center could be a true town center with a health focus based on a regional medical center. New Carrollton, it's the only location in the Washington metropolitan area that combines the following 6, or will combine the following 6 transportation elements: Amtrak, MARC, Metro, interstate bus, interstate highway, and soon to be Purple Line. Nowhere offers that type of transportation concentration. Prince George's Plaza, here we are. This is our only true mixed-use TOD project in Prince George's County now. We have a lot of vision and a lot of aspiration. This is an area where the residential, the retail, and the offices all come together. Branch Avenue, southern Prince George's County's downtown, where we're pursuing GSA, where apartments are under construction now. And then Suitland, our federal center. We envision a mixed-use project there where we want to bring residential, we want to bring retail to be concentrated along with our federal concentration. And then our next slide, please, is leadership and collaboration. This will only happen through partnerships. The County Council and the County Executive, WMATA, Department of Transportation, our Park and Planning colleagues, all of us have to work together to make this happen. Next slide. In concluding my remarks, we're trying to break through previous impediments to TOD in Prince George's County. We are trying to jumpstart TOD in Prince George's County, and we're trying to invite the private sector to join us in this effort. Now, I'm going to quote Yogi Berra again. He says, one of the things Yogi Berra said, "It's tough to make predictions, especially about the future." Think about it. Well, I'm going to make a prediction here. If you take advantage of this initiative, take advantage of the leadership from County Executive Baker and the Council and all these other partners, I'm predicting that TOD and Prince George's County will go together hand to hand, and this is the place it will be. So I thank you very much for listening to this presentation. I invite the private sector to join us, and now it's my great pleasure to invite to the podium Councilman Will Campos, who in fact this is his district, and we're thankful very much for him to be our host. Thank you all very much.
Good morning, everybody. I'll be very, very quick, actually. I really just want to paint a picture of where we were and where we are now, and I just want to thank some very key people that have made this all happen. About 6-7 years ago is when University Town Center, not these buildings, but the new Town Center with the movie theater and the new retail actually came to fruition. Unfortunately, that's exactly right about the time when the economy hit. So where everything was going great, and we actually had surplus budgets, which was a thing of the past now. Yeah, we actually had surplus budgets. And I came in right at the right time. I thought that was the norm. When I came in 10 years ago, I was like, my God, this is it? This is easy. We have more money that we need to spend? This is crazy. That's how it was. And then everything tanked. Everything that you saw here as far as retail is concerned started going down. We had, if you are a fan of Seinfeld, we had the Soup Man right here on the plaza, and the lines were out the door to get that soup because of the fame from Seinfeld and just in general because it was such good food. But slowly but surely we started losing all those stores, and so we got hit by the economy. And what you see now, unfortunately, is a retail desert. So this is why, the fact that we're here and we're celebrating the new things to come is so amazing because we have lived it here. We have lived the actual market crash, and we are now doing our best to get out of that. Quite frankly, it all starts with the county executive's EDI initiative, Economic Development Initiative. The $50 million that he put in at the very beginning from coming into office is the reason that we're here, bar none. We could not have done it without it, and that was the reason for it was this right here. Could not have done this without the colleagues. My colleagues are amazing. I truly am going to miss them as they go on to their second round on the council. Without their support, we would not have been able to put $2 million into this spot to help the revitalization of the transit-oriented development that we are talking about right here. What Dave Iannucci just talked about is exactly what we did here. So just to show you all, the county, the executive, the council is putting our money where our mouths is. Our mouths are. and that's really all I wanted to say. It really is. This is not just a nice press conference to talk about some fun stuff and some good stuff that potentially may be coming down the line. This is stuff that we're actually doing. So thank you for the county executive, and I also want to say a big thanks to Steve Proctor. Steve, where are you? Steve's all the way in the back. Give him a round of applause because Steve came up to me a couple years ago. This has actually been, obviously these things are not overnight. He came up to me and he said, well, we have good news. I thought it was just another meeting. And he comes up and tells me that we have Safeway, an anchor store, coming up to continue the revitalization of this project, which is key because up to now we just had an empty parking lot and essentially an oasis here of great stuff that's coming down the line, but you couldn't see because there was nothing at the main entrance. And so he came up and our next step was essentially to talk to Dave Iannucci, tell him that we need some money, and Dave said, man, we haven't done anything that big yet, but we were able to work with him and the executives and Tom Himmler. Thank you all so much. We really could not be here if it wasn't for you, and I definitely want to make sure I recognize Jim Chandler from the city of Hyattsville. They were instrumental as well to complete the package for $3 million. So folks, there is money, there are incentives to build, construct great things, quality things here in Prince George's County, particularly our metro stations, and this is proof of it. Thank you very much. Folks, it is my pleasure now to introduce my chair, Mel Franklin.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great job. Great job. All right. Good morning. All right, I see my friend Senator Victor Ramirez walked in, I believe, District 47. Where's Victor? Good to see you, Victor. Victor's a big advocate for this site. Well, what more is there left to say? Well, first let me say that we're bringing the world to Prince George's County, and specifically we're bringing the world to University Town Center. I think today's event is a great deal about taking what in many ways have been missed opportunities and showing everyone that these are the greatest opportunities for development in the entire region, if not the entire country. We have truly an opportunity to do something that we as a county have never done before. Operate as one, from county executive to council, private sector, state, federal, WMATA, all of our multi-jurisdictional agencies, the planning board, for one purpose, and that's to jumpstart TOD in our county. And jumpstarting TOD is not just a policy prescription, though it includes that. It really is about building great destinations right here in Prince George's County, so that you as a millennial, that's the term nowadays, can live, work, be entertained, shop in one location, and not have to rely on a car. And that's the vision for transit-oriented development that we've been challenged to create here in the county, but we're doing so finally. And I think that's really another message, that we're turning the corner. Whether it's the Regional Medical Center at Largo, whether it's bringing the FBI to Greenbelt, whether it's DHCD at New Carrollton, whether it's the great things that are happening at Branch Avenue and the aggressiveness we're showing at Suitland. We are acting like we've never before to show the private sector that we're open for business, that development is happening here in Prince George's County, and you should come and be a part of it. And there's no better place to be a part of it than at our metro stations here in the county. So I'm excited, Mr. County Executive, your whole team. We're working together to move beyond talk and to move towards action, and we're making it happen. And I want to say, and bringing on our next speaker, who is vital to this effort, our Transportation Secretary, Jim Smith,
Sir, we look forward to working closely with you. We can't do any of this without the state, without the investment from the state, and without the cooperation from the state. And we look forward to making that happen to create great transit-oriented development, not just here for the county, but for the great state of Maryland. So with that, let me bring up our Transportation Secretary, Jim Smith.
Now that's a pep rally right there. One man, that's a pep rally. Good morning, everybody. I tell you, on behalf of Governor O'Malley and Lieutenant Governor Brown, it's really a pleasure for me to be here in sunny Prince George's County. You know, I was feeling like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. You know, every day I'd get up and say, spring's here, and then the rain, the snow, the sleet would all come in. And but I'm declaring today the first day of spring. It's opening day for the baseball. You know, this is it. And you know, spring is a time of new beginnings, and there's no question in anybody's mind that Prince George's County is in a spring of new beginnings. It's a new government, it's a new opportunity, and in the region, and I'm talking about the entire DC region, I'm talking about really the whole state, Prince George's County is the place to be, because that's where opportunity is. You know, there's one thing about being passed over. When you're passed over, you still have all your assets. Well, Prince George's County has all their assets, and they're ready to partner with the state of Maryland, with WMATA, particularly with the private sector. And they have a government that is really working, a government that is working for the people who live here. And people have become believers in Prince George's County. And Prince George's County is taking advantage of that belief. And I tell you, Mel, I'm pleased to be a partner on behalf of MDOT and on behalf of Governor O'Malley and Lieutenant Governor Brown with Prince George's County. And Rashawn, you know that it's exciting to just think about Prince George's County in today's terms. And TOD, your jump start for TOD is really, really important, because there's no question that TOD really requires local government leadership. And that's what we have here in Prince George's County now. These are really challenging projects. It's, you know, to create and to develop sprawl is really pretty easy to do. To take an area that is already developed but not where you want it to be, that's a lot harder, and it takes a lot of leadership, and that's what we have here: a great partnership and a great leadership team that is going to take advantage of all that Prince George's County has to offer. You know, there are 15 metro stations that are really ripe for development in this county. And in addition to the Purple Line, which is going to connect New Carrollton with Bethesda. So, you know, the O'Malley-Brown administration has really recognized this from the very get-go of this administration, and knows that Prince George's wants to create those places that Mel referred to, where people can live, work, play, shop, and do everything without having to hop into a car. And certainly the state of Maryland has bought into that and is anxious through the Maryland Department of Transportation to contribute to make all of that happen. Already, the governor and lieutenant governor have invested a lot of money in Prince George's. Now, they were also very helpful to get the gas tax passed. So, in effect, they've earned the right. But in any event, they're also seeing the fruits of their labor with the $50 million to access Branch Avenue Metro Station better, $7 million to design for the FBI headquarters, which is coming to Greenbelt, and $10 million to improve bike and pedestrian access at the Naylor Road Metro Station. And there's another partner in all of this. We all know that. Besides the private sector, besides the executive and the council and the departments at Prince George's County, it's also the communities and people of Prince George's County, and it's also the private sector all across the state. In fact, outside the state wants to partner with Prince George's County to make things happen. But WMATA is also a major player, and it's they have the right attitude at WMATA. They know the role that they have to play. And it's not just transporting people from point A to point B, although that is very, very important, but it is also creating the opportunity for economic development, economic vitality at the transit stations to enable more ridership and less congestion on our roads. So, and as you know, the governor and lieutenant governor want a double ridership by 2020, and so we all have a stake in this, and it's really exciting to think that this is happening right here, not just at this university complex, but also throughout Prince George's County, and it truly is a new day. And as I say, the partnership with WMATA is a critical element, and I'm so glad that they're here today. They know their importance, and they understand the significance of it. And so it's my pleasure to introduce to you Stan Wall from WMATA. Stan?
Thank you to Secretary Smith for that great introduction, and to County Executive Baker, County Council, and staff for inviting me here to participate in this event to celebrate TOD in Prince George's County. Since joining Metro nearly 2 years ago, I've enjoyed having the opportunity to work closely with the County Executive, County Council, and staff to help advance TOD at the county's 15 Metro Rail stations. These efforts have involved coordinated station planning to make sure that WMATA's priorities are closely aligned with the county's priorities for each of our stations, working closely with the county and the state to discuss infrastructure requirements that are needed to advance TOD at each of these stations, and finally, and most importantly, taking steps to make sure that WMATA is seen as an effective, close business partner with our development community. Through our collective efforts, by the end of this year, out of the 15 stations that are in the county, 9 of those stations will actually be under development, in solicitation, or in negotiation. So over half of the stations in the county will move forward. For the 5 priority stations here at Prince George's Plaza, joint development is almost complete. We have one very small parcel remaining at this area, but joint development is mostly complete at Prince George's Plaza. At New Carrollton, we have a joint development agreement with Forest City and Urban Atlantic, and we're looking forward to our first phase of development starting in 2015. At Branch Avenue, we negotiated an agreement with GSA to help anchor a mixed-use development project. We're working with the county and the state to help provide the infrastructure to make that project happen. At Largo, we received board approval to move forward with negotiating or offering that site for development this year. And again, working with the county, Councilmember Davis, we hope to have an RFP on the street by the end of this year for that station as well. And at Suitland, we're working very closely with the county, state, GSA to identify infrastructure improvements that will help enhance that area and make it right for joint development to happen at that station as well. We look forward to our ongoing partnership with the county, the state, and moving quickly from TOD planning to TOD implementation, and we hope to make that happen sooner than later. My partner in this effort has actually been Cheryl Court from the Coalition for Smarter Growth. She's helped us not only in Prince George's County, but across the region in making sure that we're being effective in creating TOD projects. And with that, I'll introduce Cheryl Court.
Thanks so much. I'm with a nonprofit, Coalition for Smarter Growth, and we are so excited to be here today. You know, our region is growing, and the best place for us to be growing is at Prince George's Metro stations. We have 15 Metro stations. We have the Purple Line coming online. This is a great opportunity. I just want to thank the Baker administration for really pumping this up and demonstrating that the administration and the council are serious about reducing regulatory barriers, of putting incentives on the table, and really making this a great place to live and work. This is where the future is. This is where we are growing. We are growing by leaps and bounds. People want to live in great walkable places, convenient to transit. And so we are excited to partner and support the efforts of the county, and I wanted to, I have the privilege of introducing County Executive Rusher Baker, who's done a wonderful job from the beginning of his campaign all the way through champion how important transit-oriented development is to the county and to the region. He's a regional leader, and we are excited to move this forward to the next level. Mr. Baker?
Thank you, Cheryl. I like the, I really like the ending of the introduction when Cheryl talked about from the campaign all the way to where we are now. What we did before I get into my very short remarks, and part of the reason I go last is to hear everybody else talk and say great things about Prince George's County. But it's interesting, before I get into these remarks, Barry Hudson and I were talking about the campaign. And, one of the things about modern day campaigns, as the council knows, and as my good friends who run for the House of Delegates, Ann Healy's here and Victor Ramirez, they know this. We say a lot of what we're going to do when we get into office. Nowadays, a lot of that is on YouTube. So they can actually go back and dial back and see if you actually did any of those things. So, at one point in the commercial, Councilwoman Tolles, one point in the campaign, I did this commercial talking about economic development, and I was standing outside of Suitland. And I talked about the 15 metro stations in Prince George's County and how we had how we were going to do transit-oriented development. And at the time I said it, of course, I didn't realize we weren't going to have no money. But it's interesting to say you say these things, and then we looked at each other, we said, you know what, maybe we should look at those commercials and see if we've done any of those things we said we were going to do. And the beauty of it is, every last thing that we promised that we would do in the campaign, we have actually done. We have actually done. And the reason that's important is because I can't do it as county executive. Without the county council doing their part, it would not happen. We wouldn't have an economic development incentive fund if the county council hadn't said, in a time when the economy had turned south, that we're willing to risk it all to go left when everybody else was going right, and to invest $50 million not in someone else but in ourselves. That's what jump-started where we are today. And so can we give the council another round of applause? And I also want to thank a couple of people that are here. I know Brian Berman is here with Berman Enterprise. If he's here, can we give him a round of applause? That's where DACD is going. Certainly, I want to thank Secretary Smith, a former county executive, so I knew when he took that job, we'd have a great friend, and he's been that. Can we give him a round of applause? And another round of applause for Gwen McCall and her team for really coming in and meshing this together. Now, before I go off script and have people yell at me, let me just say a few things that they actually wrote for me. Let's see. It is a great day in Prince George's County. We have been marching toward this day for a while now, since I've taken office. There you go. And we're jump-starting economic development. As I was sitting there, and I will close with this, this is a great day, a great month, a great year, a great 3 years in Prince George's County. We didn't get here by accident, as David Iannucci, has said often. The things that are happening now, the investment in Prince George's County, did not just happen because we decided when we all came into office that we were going to do this. There were other administrations that wanted the same thing to happen. As Councilmember Campos said, the economy changed. The willingness to take risk wasn't there. But with all that going on, we wouldn't be here if we as an elected body had not taken some first steps to prepare us. And I think it's important to remember that as we go forward. Part of those first steps was as we came in 2010 as a group, one of the first things we did was we tackled ethics reform. Because what we said to the business community and developers is, whatever your perception of Prince George's County, that has changed. We are willing to deal with the issues that are on the table. So we did that first. Said, okay, people said you can't do business in Prince George's County. Nope, we checked that off, ethics reform. Next thing was a $50 million EDI investment fund. We want you to take a risk on us. We're willing to take a risk on us. We're going to put our own money in there at this time. We did that. People talked about public safety. Crime in Prince George's County over these last 4 years, violent crime has dropped somewhere around 60%. The highest reduction you've seen around the nation. And then we talked about our commitment to transit-oriented development, and we shaped it into what I like to call, and what the signature project of this administration is, or signature focus, is our Transforming Neighborhoods Initiative. We didn't pick those by accident. If you think about and go back and take a map of our Transforming Neighborhoods Initiative and those neighborhoods, they either abut or are near a metro station. You can't have transit-oriented development unless you improve the quality of life around those metro stations and around the areas there. So that means school improvement, public safety. Those get us to where we are today. And here we are, at University Town Center, which we think is not just a jewel. This right here is the future that's happening today. And I end with this. A couple of months ago or a year ago, I don't know how long ago, they all wrapped together. We were around here talking with Senator Mikulski about keeping the Treasury jobs right here in Prince George's County. They were about to leave. They were going to go West Virginia. And so we were, talking about, like everybody else, we wanted to keep those jobs right here in Prince George's County. So one of the things Senator Mikulski does, if you ever, walk with her when she comes into a federal building and talks to federal, holds a press conference, is she goes and she talks to workers in the federal government. She shakes their hand, asks them where they live, where they're from, and all this, which I think is a great idea. So, of course, since she was doing that, she said, come with me. Hadn't been my plan, but I went with her. And I was glad I did. She's asking people, where are you from? Where do you live? A majority lived in Prince George's County or lived in the state of Maryland. Majority took Metro to get here. But that is not what caught my attention. What caught my attention was when I asked them, why is it you want to stay here? And were you excited about coming to this location in Prince George's County when those jobs were moved here? And to a person, they said, one, I was not excited about coming here when they relocated us to Prince George's County from downtown D.C., where you can get to all the shops, restaurants, and everything you need, to out here in the wasteland. I said, okay, well, I can take that. And I said, well, why do you want to stay here? They said, it's finally coming together. We finally can walk outside our door and go down here and shop and have a place to eat. And we see the future. We see it. We see what we had, and now it's better. In the midst of all that, we don't want to leave at the time it's taking off. That is what I want to leave you with, Jumpstart. They knew if we could give an inside tip to everybody, it would be invest in Prince George's County. Don't tell anybody I said this, invest in Prince George's County. That's what they knew. They saw the future. They said right now is when it's happening, and they're going to take us away from here. If they did not have that attitude about the future of Prince George's County, those jobs would have been lost, because they would have been the first people down there in the federal government asking to move or asking to go back down to D.C. They were asking to stay here. Every last one of these metro sites, that same thing will happen. I guarantee you, I don't give guarantees often, but go to Largo, and after we put the hospital there, between Largo and Morgan Boulevard, that right there is a downtown that will rival anything you've seen here in the Washington region. Suitland, which I'm always high on, has the greatest potential there is, and we're going to invest in it. What today is about is keeping the push forward. This administration, as long as I'm county executive, will target these transit-oriented development sites and make Prince George's County what it is and will be. That is the place to be. Thank you. And thank you for coming.